Justice Minister Thembi Simelane is set to appear before Parliament's Portfolio Committee in a short while to give her an account of an alleged loan from a VBS-linked company. Simelane has been summoned to explain a questionable loan of over R500,000 received apparently from a VBS-linked entity during her tenure as Polokwane mayor. President Cyril Ramaphosa has requested a detailed report from Simelane on her alleged involvement. And while the ANC says the Justice Minister will appear before its Integrity Commission on the same matter, we'll wait to see the outcome of this testimony today. Newzroom Afrika's Juniour Khumalo has been keeping an eye on this one and joins me as we await the start of those proceedings. Juniour, good morning to you. I want to quickly start. In fact, let's just maybe start with the background before we talk about the latest developments. Okay. For those who haven't been watching the story as closely, we saw a number of media investigations around this one, also by News 24, around the nature of what this loan was. So I'd like you to take us back to the genesis of the saga for the Justice Minister.
Okay, so the Justice Minister, before she became the Justice Minister, was the mayor of Polokwane. This was between 2014 and 2021. So it's understood that between that time period, the municipality invested money into the VBS Bank Mutual. So this investment was facilitated by a company called Gundo Wealth Solutions. So the owner of that company is then said to have given a loan to the minister. The minister claims that this was a commercial loan. But a lot of people are questioning the timing. Your municipality basically invests money into VBS and afterwards you receive a loan. And from the reports, as you've indicated from News 24 and Daily Maverick, they seem to suggest that the only commercial loan that was issued in 2016 by that company was to the minister. So the minister has so far confirmed that she received that amount, which is 575,600 rand. And she bought a coffee shop in Sandton using that amount of money. This was Sylvia's coffee shop. It has since closed down. It closed down in 2022, and now it has been replaced by other tenants. So we definitely expect her to appear before Parliament to basically talk about why she got a loan from that company in particular, why not go to a bank to get a commercial loan, and whether there is an agreement, a side agreement to confirm that it was a commercial loan. She has claimed that she has paid the money back as well. So we do expect her to also pay it back.
So that's live picture from the committee that the minister is going to appear before. This is the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee to give answers to these questions and some of these allegations that Juniour has now been talking to us about during her tenure as Polokwane mayor. And as soon as those proceedings go live, we will take you there. But it is, as Juniour is saying, questionable the position that she held at the time to be able to allow her access to a loan after these investments were made from the municipality into VBS Mutual Bank. And we also know that the owner, this is Gundo Wealth Solutions, their owner, Razwinane, is also appearing in court on fraud charges. So he's got some questions to answer. He's on trial for fraud, corruption and money laundering charges for his role as this commissioning agent connecting the municipalities, including the Polokwane municipality, with VBS. So, Juniour, the answers that we want, and these should be provided quite easily. If it was a commercial loan, there were terms for that loan repayment, and you ought to be able to show proof that these paybacks were made.
Indeed. So the members of Parliament that sit in that portfolio committee, we do expect them to ask her, provide the agreement that was signed between the two entities. And since she claims that she has made the payments as well back to that company, we do expect them to also, the minister also, to provide the proof that she's made the payment back to that company. We've heard the ANC and the president actually take a tough stance, saying that this matter will not be swept under the carpet. Yesterday, the president, who is in a state visit to China, was asked about this, and he said the matter is not going to be swept under the carpet. But the worry about this matter is that these matters usually take a very long time. We've seen people implicated in the State Capture Commission action hasn't been taken to this point. They're still waiting for the NPA to prosecute these individuals. But with her, the problem is the portfolio that she holds. She is in charge of the NPA. So this is the entity that's also expected to investigate and charge her. So a lot of people are saying she must step aside and then allow the proceedings to go ahead before then she faces the music, basically.
And given, as you say, Junior, her proximity to the very agency that's going to be tasked with going after her, there would be an obvious and direct conflict inherently written into her position vis-a-vis the NPA and others. Speaking of the NPA, so there are some developments this morning insofar as law enforcement. Tell us about that.
Indeed, there are some developments. There are allegations that the Hawks are now actively investigating this matter. We saw reports from Daily Maverick saying that even some of the devices belonging to her PA have been confiscated by the Hawks. I did call the Hawks spokesperson, Thandi Mbambo, just before we came here today, and she could only say that we are investigating everything in relation to VBS, but we can't name any individual at this point because they have not been charged. So any individual who hasn't been charged and appeared before court, they can't name them, but she can confirm that they're investigating anything in relation to VBS.
So again, I mean, and I think for the benefit of our viewers is to talk about the complete corrosive nature of different types of loans and fraudulent activity insofar as VBS is concerned. As Newzroom Afrika, we did a number of stories going back to communities who were directly affected, their pensions, you know, the monies that they'd put in the bank simply evaporating, and guarantees for them to get some compensation as well. Some have received, some haven't received to the extent. It has meant the loss of livelihood, income. Some people have even died with broken hearts because of the saga. This is why it occupies such even deeper prominence in South African society.
Indeed. So a lot of people were speaking about the rise of the minister herself. She comes from a lot of adversity. We know that her own sister in 1983, she was abducted. There are claims that she was murdered by the apartheid government. So she rose through that adversity to become a minister, to get into that position. And when she was mayor, now people are trying to reconcile how then does an individual who went through such adversity then now inflict such adversity to the people that have lost their livelihoods, as you are speaking about, if these allegations are indeed proven to be true, that she benefited from the looting of this bank. Because over 2 billion was apparently, almost 2 billion rand was apparently looted from this bank. And a lot of people lost their livelihoods. Some people put all their pension in that bank as well. So it's a great loss to a lot of people.
Well, we're going to talk more about this. You'll be watching these proceedings with me as well. There is some housekeeping as well. It's not just going to be on the VBS matter. I think the salaries of magistrates and so on is also going to be on the order paper today for the Portfolio Committee to discuss and to look at. And we know that that relates to issues around the judiciary as well, the beefing up and the bolstering of the judiciary and the transformation of the judiciary as well. So we'll come back to it in just a moment. We can see live picture there from the room. And I promise you, as soon as things get underway there, it is an issue of great public interest. We'll come back to it in just a moment. So that's where the Justice Minister, Thembi Simelane, will appear before the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee.